כל השונה על החול בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן העולם הבא בעזרת השם. Today is Dalet Tishrei, the 4th of the month of Tishrei. When Tuesday, the 3rd day of the week of Parashat Shabbat Ha'azinu. But Hashem will be discussing today two mitzvot, the Oraita mitzvah number 5 and number 6. 5 tells us there is an obligation to slaughter, to shecht Korban Pesach and bring throw the blood on the Mizbeach. And mitzvah number 6, we must partake, to eat from the Korban Pesach. And that, Bezrat Hashem, as it says, V'achulu et ha-basar b'layla hazeh. Bezrat Hashem, the mitzvot are sponsored today, Lilu Nishmat, Aharon ben Moshe, v'gam Rachel bat Bela,
וגם
Machluf ben Rafael HaKohen, the father-in-law, right? And Emil ben Yaakov Golda, וגם להבדיל לרפואה שלמה לכל חומו ישראל בכללם לאבא יחיה בן אברהם רפואה שלמה בן יעקב בן רחל חיה בת לאה רחמה בת זהורה חיה בת לאה יוסף חיים בן יוסף יעקב ישראל דניאל בן אנג'לה רפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל עזרא בן דסי רפואה שלמה בן עבדת השם. Mitzvah number 5. It says like this: Lishchot bayom 14 ben Nisan ben ha'arbaim. We're obligated on the 14th of Nisan after the mincha, which is ben arbaim means after mincha time, which is right after chatzot, half hour. We are all obligated to shecht a set tamim zachar ben shana. It has to be a lamb, a male lamb, and it has to be shalem. Okay, he has to be ben shana, meaning within a first year. Within the first year, he has to have no blemishes. He has to be a perfect animal, meaning that it's checked properly. Or ogedi, okay, or a goat. Bebeit HaBechira, we go to Beit HaMikdash and we check them. Okay, and this is going to be the Korban Pesach. Zenikra Korban Pesach, sheneimar, and it says like this in Sefer Shemot, chapter 12. Pasuk Vav. V'shachatu oto kol kahal l'ad Yisrael ben arbaim. The Torah tells us you must shecht this korban after the ben ha'arbaim, after the what's his name? They call it twilight, right? What is a twilight? Ben ha'arbaim is twilight. Twilight means the changing of the lights. So you have from the morning till midday you have sun rising, and from midday point the sun is coming to set already. That's called sun setting, and that's called twilight. It's changing the lights. Okay, and from that moment and on, you have to check the Korban Pesach. The Inyan Mitzvah, it's out of this world. Just to let you know quickly, imagine there is a Gemara that says that enumerates the Korban Abayit, the destruction of the Mikdash. How many Jews did the Goyim kill? It actually lists numbers. In one city, 113 million. In one city, 190 million. Another city, 80 million. So the numbers are out of this number, out of this world. And how else are you going to get blood, a flow of blood like a river? That's what the Gemara describes over there. Okay? And so can you imagine now if you had, how many people could participate in one korban? You have a kipsa, you have a sheep. Out of sheep, you extract, out of sheep, about 30 to 50 pounds of meat out of one sheep. Okay? So let's say 50 pounds. 50 pounds, how many kazetot it has? Each pound has 16 kazetot. 16 ounces. An ounce is approximately a kazayet. So you have, so 50 times 16, how many people are covered? No? Come on, people. Huh? Yeah, about 800 people. 800. Imagine you have 100. No, sounds too much. 50 times 16, 800. Yeah, 800 people would be covered from one kipsa. Meaning you have a whole family. Everybody participated. All the people. That's how it was. So that not always like this. You know, if they didn't find anybody, they didn't find it. So it was like a shuffle thing, raffle thing. 1, 2, 3. Everybody was collecting as much as possible. But let's say you had that. So 800 million Jews, if that's the Gemara's number, you have 1 million cows, 1 million sheep have to be shechted. Guess how long? in 6 hours. You know what it is to shecht 1,000,000 sheep in 6 hours? You know what's happening there? In Beit HaMikdash, somebody made a video or something.
Miracle, obviously.
It was out of this world. First of all, the Kohanim were outlined in the train, like a train, right? So they were preparing each animal by the Ben Amid B'chaim, where the coils are, the 12 rings were, right? They put an animal there and they shecht it. Now there's a Kohen that accepts the blood, mekabel the blood, and what happened was only Kohen could take the blood, carry this blood, and it has to be shaken all the time in order to not to dry up. And the Kohen is only one allowed to throw it on the Mizbeach. Okay, so now imagine this. How many Kohanim you need to do? There was a train. The hands movement was out of this world. Shechting, moving, everybody standing right over. Shech. Instantly, they were shechting 1,000,000 in 6 hours, out of this world. And you couldn't even see the hands of the Kohanim. That's why it says Kohanim Zerizim. They were fast, quickly, to shecht such a big quantity of korbanot. This is only if you got 800 people on a korban. If not, if it's less, that means more korbanot. Somebody says, I want a bigger piece. I don't know. The guy bought it for his whole family, and now he's mishatef everybody. Okay. Anyway, ועניין המצווה הוא שמתקבצים אנשים מישראל לחבורות. So the whole point of this mitzvah is that the Jewish people are gathering to groups. ולוקחים מן השוק או מביתם, גדי אחד עושה. Then they take from a marketplace. Obviously, it says from the houses, but it's not from the houses because it's the worst thing. If you take an animal and you say this animal is going to be the Korban Pesach or whatever it is, that you're going to bring it from that means you have to be very careful with it. You have to put it like in a safe and carry it with the wagons and make sure it eats there and drinks there and not one little thing falls on it. No blemish. That was if you did it at home, if you sanctified it at home. So what did used to people do? Used to go to the marketplace. Can you imagine? 10 million lambs for sale. See, everybody's trying to buy a lamb. Everyone making sure it's meticulous. Obviously, the checking maybe without even earlier. ושוחטין אותו בעזרת בית המקדש ביום 14. Then we shecht it in the בית המקדש on the 14th of Nisan, בין הערביים, right after the twilight. ואחר כך לערב אוכלים אותו בין כולם אחר מאכלם, שמצוותו לאוכלו על השובע. The mitzvah is like this. The rule is, people should not make a mistake, that there is such a thing called a person who overeats. Le'alacha, if you overeat, you're not allowed to bench even. Yeah? If you overeat, you come you did an avera. It's not a small thing. According to Rambam, it is preferably a person should eat 2/3 of what he needs. So a person knows what he needs. So eat 2/3. Should have enough room to digest in the stomach. However, over here the mitzvah is that on the night of the Pesach we eat as to satisfaction, and you must eat the Korban Pesach when you're satisfied. This is totally opposite the halacha. The halacha is you're not allowed to eat when you oversaturated.
It's like a contradiction.
No contradiction here. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu is telling you that this meat is not for your food. Once in a while, this is not for your sustenance. It's supposed to be there because the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to remember, and we'll see the discussion. What's the purpose? זה מצווה, alright? ושושן מצווה זה כדי שיזכרו היהודים לעולם הניסים הגדולים שעשה להם השם יתברך ביציאת מצרים. So we'll discuss right now. We're starting about the next 20 or so halachot will be related to mitzvot. The right will be related to Pesach. And what's the purpose of those mitzvot? Those mitzvot are incumbent on us, the Jewish nation, to constantly remind ourselves of all the great miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu performed for us coming out of Mitzrayim. And that is actually, by the way, besides saying Kriyat Shema every day, you're obligated to remind yourself, what is in Kriyat Shema? Yetziat Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt, which was the forming of our nation by exodus of the Egypt. And constantly you have to remind yourself this idea. Because unfortunately, if you take a look, you go to Coca-Cola administrators, the guys who in charge of Coca-Cola, you know they drink Coca-Cola, right? How many years number one in the market? Who knows?
Just the first day.
In 1980s, there was a Pepsi takeover for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Pepsi took over for 2-3 days. No, a few years, like 10 years or something like that.
Because of Michael Jackson.
Okay, yeah, Michael, yeah, whatever you said the name. All right, anyway, so what happened was Pepsi took over, but yet today it's number one. How much money do you think they spent on one billboard on 34th Street in Manhattan?
$2 million.
All right, it used to be, I remember, $1 billion a year, just to have themselves on a 34th Street a huge big sign, Coca-Cola, enjoy, yeah. Enjoy the Coke. Usually the drugs you don't have to sell, so you don't have to advertise, right?
Well, that's how they started.
Yeah, of course we know that. Okay, that's why it's called Coke. Anyway, it probably still has Coke inside there because it's making everybody crazy. Somebody else, I think Rabbi Amnon Nitzak pointed out, says why people today are crazy. People are crazy. They're killing themselves. They don't care. They've been told that the program is to dilute the world, to make sure that we kill the people in the world, and everybody's okay with it. He says because they're drinking Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Sprite, all those things. They're adding something there that the mind clicks off, and it's like on a trend. What does people on drugs do? They don't care about nothing. People to drink that take drugs, they cannot. That people drunk.
The sugar enough will do it to you. It's all sugar.
Right. So Rabbi Melitza claims that's why people today are being told in their face, we are depopulating you. Kamala Harris said it on the television publicly that all this idea of electricals and all the electric cars and all those things, everything, all the radiation, right now, what is the hottest thing for cooking in the house? What is the hottest thing that people use cooking in the house?
Air fryer.
Besides air fryer. Besides microwave. Air fryer is worse than microwave. Besides, somebody I spoke to yesterday, to a scientist, what was the problem with microwave? How did they even discover microwave? It was a Nazi Germany camp. In a camp of the soldiers, they realized when they were doing radiation and terror experiments on people, they had actually food next to the machines, the lunch boxes or whatever. They were getting hot. So the army decided that this is the best way to heat up food for all the soldiers in Nazi Germany. And they send out all these machines to the camps to warm up. They created this cold microwave, start warming up food for the German soldiers. All of a sudden, they all had leukemia. All the soldiers start dying from leukemia. What's going on here? They'll get cancer, high radiation from those microwaves. So Baruch Hashem, my house already over a year or something. Since I learned that, I said, Habibis, all my food is warmed up in the oven. In the oven or in a hot plate. No such thing microwave anymore. Baruch Hashem. Now, what did they came out? Because people are smart. So they decided to get rid of the microwaves. They're not selling microwaves as much as they sold 20 years ago because people were already talking. So what did they came out with? This a beautiful idea. What's the beautiful idea? They sell you an oven. It's called air fryer. Even the oven is air fryer. You know how much radiation that causes? Anyway, and people are all in the trends. So now, how did we start with Coca-Cola? Why? They're spending billions of dollars on advertising. They're number one. You know why? Because people forget. I went to, what's his name? I went to school. I was in college for a few months, Baruch Hashem. I got out of it. But this is what we took a course of promotions. That's why I'm all day busy. You guys noticing me promoting things, right? That's what's the thing. People forget. People forget. So Coca-Cola spends billions of dollars a year just on advertising because people forget. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that. Where do you think Coca-Cola is smart guys? Torah, constantly. Look at this. So many mitzvot related to Pesach in the Torah. How many times already Pesach occurred? How many times? You would think every day we have Pesach, right? No. One time it occurred, and constantly Hashem has to remind you. And of course, it's going to build you. Somebody asked me, I forget things very fast. When I learn, I forget things, right? Somebody asked me, Rabbi, how do I keep my memory? Only one way. Repeat. Take a subject, I tell them, take a Mishnah. Take let's say a perek, a chapter in the Mishnayot, or Gemara or something. Learn 2-3 pages of Gemara, and repeat it 100 times. First of all, what does it do? Your repetition and your mind challenges your mind, and constantly it reminds it. People are always thinking it the other way around. Repeating is so boring, right? The kids hate repetition. No, the other way around. Why kids hate repetition? Because it's supposed to help you to remember better. And it's going to train your mind to remember things. Because while you're repeating, you're actually developing a constant, called a memory, what's his name? Memory bank. Not just memory bank. You are expanding your mind because you're constantly repeating, and the mind is becoming juicier, and you remember better. And this way, a person can forget about ulcers, anything, Alzheimer's, forget about all this garbage. Why? Because your brain is constantly, the only time people start forgetting is because they don't repeat something. When people don't learn, people don't work. People start going on they're shifting on the relaxation, that's where the mind also relaxes. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want your mind to relax. Constantly say Kriyat Shema. Constantly remember Yetziat Mitzrayim. Dinei Mitzvah Kagon Zman Shechitato Bayom Ematar. So all the rules about how to shecht B'Shut Yishchat B'Shalosh Kitot Ba'Azara. As we know that in the Beit HaMikdash there were 3 groups as they were coming in, and they were shutting out the doors because again, in order to shecht million, there has to be a certain order, and everything has to be done smoothly. Dochin Shabbat alav, and also on Shabbat you do that. What happens if Shabbat falls on the 14th? You do the shechita. Moshe, on Shabbat, what happens? Hey, this is for you. On Shabbat, you have to do shechita Korban Pesach. You know that? But you don't cook it. When do you cook it? You cook it Motzei Shabbat. Okay, very nice. This mitzvah is in the time of Beit HaMikdash, obviously, because we don't have it in Rashi, unfortunately. So, but the Zacharim of the Nekevot. Somebody went ahead. Chas v'shalom. This is one of the mitzvot deoraita, which is obligation to do. There is no punishment in the Torah. The whole Torah Kula. How many mitzvot deoraita say? Come on, Abraham. No, okay, 248. You have 248 mitzvot aseh deoraita. Only 3 of them get punished. The Torah outlines it. Which one? This is one of them. Hayav karet, as it says over there. Somebody who doesn't want to eat Pesach on purpose, he is going to be karet. His shoulder is going to be ripped out. And obviously, many people don't understand what karet means. Karet actually means to that avera. Right? We have 613 parts in our body, as we know, 248 organs, 365 sinews, veins, and each one is corresponding to each mitzvah in the Oraita. So there's 613 mitzvot, there's 613 parts of our body. Karet means that chelek connected to that mitzvah gets ripped off. Okay, meaning he's not going to be shalem. The person goes to Shamayim, he didn't do it on purpose. Kadosh Baruch Hu, except for one mitzvah, as we know, when a person doesn't fulfill, he doesn't get in, even doesn't get up in Tchiyat HaMetim, it completely gets destroyed. Which mitzvah? Aseh? Come on, I told you many times. Which mitzvah Aseh? A person doesn't wake up in this world if he ignores, he doesn't want to do it. Hanachat tefillin. Somebody who doesn't put on tefillin, he never wakes up. That's it. He dies, he gets punished for all his sins in this world for 12 months, and then on top of that, they disintegrate his soul completely. So it's like Gemara gives harsh punishment to such person. Okay, so that לפי שהוא אחד משלוש חטאים כרת ואין בשגגן חטאת. וכן, so he's telling you, מגדף, וזה מגדף ומבטל מילה. Okay, so you have a person who's מגדף, what is, I know, but how is it? מגדף, לא תגדף, right? לא אסור לגדף. So it's עשה. אינו מביא קורבן לפי שהוא אחד בשלושה חטאים שבזדון כרת ואין בשגגן חטאת. So no, if a person did אחד שלושה חטאים שבזדון כרת, okay, so these are 3 sins that Rabbi says. If you did on purpose, the person gets punished כרת. But if you did it by mistake, there is no חטאת ואין זה ומגדף ומבטל מילה. Somebody who doesn't have milah and megadef. Okay, let's go. Next mitzvah. Mitzvah number 6. Bezat Hashem. Mitzvah number 6 is like this. Well, till now we discussed just checking Korban Pesach. So Kadosh Baruch Hu comes and he gives you an additional mitzvah. It's telling you to go and eat from Korban Pesach. Now, the 14th you shechted. You obviously, if it's not Shabbat, you could cook it on the 14th, and then how do you cook it? Okay, as we said, okay, we're going to have later on. There's going to be a discussion how you're allowed to cook it, how you're allowed to, in order to make sure to eat it. So I don't want to touch mitzvah number 7 and 8. We'll discuss which way you're not allowed to eat the Korban Pesach. As we already explained, as we have to know, constantly remind ourselves, work on ourselves, and develop this concept of Yetziat Mitzrayim, coming out of Egypt. As we already discussed, we already mentioned it a little bit, how much you have to eat of it. So again, what is the minimum measure? 26 grams, 28 grams, whatever, however you learn kazayit. And there's rules about you cannot, once you were calculated part of this group, can you live to another group? And all this mitzvah is obviously for everybody in the time of the Mikdash. ועובר עליה בטל עשה, חס ושלום, a person who did not fulfill this mitzvah, he, on purpose also, he went against Hashem, Hashem's commandment, הוא כלל גדול, בכל התורה לכל שאומר שיבטל מצווה עשה, שכופין אותו בית דין אם יש כוח בידם עד שיקימנו. Any mitzvah, people understand, the avirot of Torah have a limit on their punishments. It's either a capital punishment or malkut. What is malkut? 39. However, the mitzvot aseh, that's why we have a rule is, aseh doche lo taseh. Meaning a commandment from Hashem is obviously more stronger than the refrainment from Hashem. If Hashem tells you don't do something, it's less important when Hashem tells you to do something. Obviously, any king today, even in the world today, right? The problem is that they work the other way around. Goyim, they tell you to do something, you didn't do it. Okay, well, I told you not to do it because it's all personal. They have no feelings. They have no understanding. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to you, don't do something. It's not that He's telling you, I want to control you. He's telling you, it's for your benefit, don't do it. So if you do it, you get hurt, it's your problem. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when I'm telling you to do something, Tzivuy HaMelech, a king's order you don't accept. So there, the rabbi says, the Rabbanim have to come in. If they see a Jew that says, I don't do Shchirat Pesach, I don't participate in that, the Rabbanim could take him and say, listen, Habibi, this is the last year you're not eating Pesach Korban. What are you going to do to me? We're going to give you lashes. I don't care what you do to me. I'm not eating Korban Pesach. My father choked on Korban Pesach. I'm not eating Korban Pesach. Oh yeah? How many makut? 10,000 till he dies. They could kill him. Until he says, I'm doing tshuva, I will start eating Korban Pesach. Have a wonderful day. If you need to go to make money, make it easy without any suffering.